You are listening to the Million Dollar Coach Business Podcast with Amanda Karlstad, episode number 258. Welcome to the Million Dollar Coach Business Podcast, a show for coaches who are ready to up-level their business and take their impact, leadership, and results to $1 million level and beyond. If you're ready to break through your limitations and start taking powerful action and become the seven-figure version of you that your business needs in order to grow, scale, and thrive, this show is for you. I'm your host, Amanda Karlstad, master coach, high-level business mentor and advisor, master intuitive, and business growth and scaling expert. Let's get down to business. Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's show. Today we are going to talk about some of the top reasons why, if you're a coach who is at the six-figure mark or beyond that mark, and you have a desire to scale higher, you have a desire to go to that high multiple six or even seven-figure mark, I want to talk today about the biggest reasons that I see across the board as to why you're not able to break through to that next level and why you might be feeling stuck, or maybe you've hit a plateau in your business. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I know that so many of you are feeling this right now, and I want to talk about this. And so one of the things that holds the majority of coaches back when they have experienced some initial success in their business. So when you are able to grow your business to that first six figures, or even that multiple six-figure mark, maybe you've been doing that over the last couple of years, maybe you've been fairly consistent with that. What tends to happen, and I see this generally around that 200,000, 250,000 mark, kind of at that top end, where there comes a point where you are ready to go to the next level. And you have likely been there for some time. And also you are at a point where you see and you kind of understand that some fundamental things have to change in order to do that. So I think this is going to be a really insightful episode for those of you that are at this point. And so if you're here, if you're at that multi six-figure level and you're feeling a bit stuck, you're feeling like you're ready to break through, then I really want to invite you to lean into this conversation. And even if you're not there yet, this conversation is really going to serve you because these are all things that you can start to really take a look at for yourself. And so these are all really, really important. And as I sat down to prepare for this episode, I actually came up with quite a long list of reasons. And so this may be a two-part episode that we talk about some of these reasons because these are really, really important things as you're looking to take things to the next level. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing that I think is important for you to understand before I get into these top reasons why I see coaches getting stuck at that six or even low multiple six-figure level is because the shift that happens when you get to that six-figure mark up to around, again, that $200,000 to $250,000 per year mark is that there are, as I mentioned, a few key, really fundamental shifts that have to happen in the business in order to step into that next revenue level. And what happens is that these changes typically require a lot mentally. They require a lot from a mindset and from a thinking perspective. And how you're thinking about your business is likely needing to be very different from how you have been thinking about it. They also require just a lot in terms of overall brain power because for a lot of coaches that are stepping into this level, it's requiring a lot of creation. It's requiring a lot of new skill development. It's requiring a lot of creativity. So just for the sheer creation that is typically involved at this stage in the journey, and we're going to talk about this more in depth shortly, but what I want you to understand is that if you're feeling this way and you're at that mark in your business, like so many of my clients who come to work with me who are at this stage, is that I want you to know that what you're experiencing is actually very normal. And one of the things that I want you to also understand is that the shift from that 6 to 7 figure level is a big shift. It's a big shift internally. And in a lot of cases, it's also can be a very big external shift in your business. We're going to talk about that. So as you are in the process of building to that 7-figure level, if you're feeling stuck, I just want you to know and really frame this conversation that it's actually very normal. So I don't want you to be judging yourself if you're feeling that way. And I'm going to talk to you about why that is. All right. So one of the first reasons that you might be stuck if you're at the 6-figure or low multiple 6-figure level is because your offers need to shift. Now, there can be a lot of reasons why this needs to happen and why this is typically the case for a lot of coaches at this level. And I just also want to say here that this does in fact look very different from business to business, from coach to coach. So this is not a blanket, everybody needs to be offering, for example, a low ticket offer, or everybody needs to be offering, for example, a high ticket offer. In fact, I have clients who are offering what I consider a low ticket offer, that is considered a low ticket offer in the industry, that are generating over $1 million per year in my programs. And I also have coaches that are offering what is considered high ticket in the industry in my containers that are also converting and making a ton of money, and it's all working very well in their businesses. So there is no one size fits all. And I would just question if you're approaching your business right now as if there is. I think there's a lot of talk right now about low ticket versus high ticket. There's a lot of conversations happening. That's one of the reasons you might be stuck. And what I will say is that it's typically when you reach that 6 or multiple 6-figure level, the truth is that at that level, you've got some things figured out for the most part. You've got what I would call proof of concept. And what I mean by that is that you've created a program or you have created an offer that you've successfully, and in many of my clients' cases, have successfully sold multiple times, whether that be through a series of launches or otherwise. But at the end of the day, you've successfully been able to sell your program and your offers. And it's also true that your clients are probably getting great results. You probably have great testimonials. You probably are very confident in the coaching that you do. And this is fantastic news. And what I also see happen at this stage is with all of that, it also a lot of times is we have to look at how you're delivering your offer or what might be included in the program, how you're structuring things. At this stage, it's also really common to need to look at who actually is your target market. Who are they really? You know, one of the things that I think a lot of people try to skip through and overlook is who their ideal client is. And while we all do that in the beginning, who your ideal client is as you progress, as your business grows, as your offers evolve, as you evolve as a coach, may not be the same person that you started out serving. So I think that that's really important. Always being willing to really take a look at who your target market is. That's really, really important. There are a lot of things underneath this and looking at your offer and making the shifts that are needed to be able to truly scale the offer. But at the end of the day, again, it's very common at this stage. If you feel stuck, it might be because your offers might need some realignment. Your offers might need to shift. And this is work that we do every day with our clients inside of our programs. All right, the next reason you might be stuck, and I will say this is typically the number one reason why I see coaches who are stuck at the 6-figure level, is because you don't have a consistent marketing and sales machine working in your business, aka a funnel. In fact, most often coaches who are hovering around that 6 or even, that low 200,000 level, it's likely because you've built up somewhat of an audience through, for example, social media, or maybe your Instagram, or maybe it's through your podcast. But essentially, you've likely built it up to some level that you have some level of email list and you've got some level of content happening where you've got some level of audience there. So this is what I typically see. But what also is happening on the inside is that your sales are typically also very inconsistent, or they might only be happening through, for example, live launching. And at the end of the day, there is not a lot of consistency in your sales on, for example, a weekly or a monthly basis, which when that happens, that leads to all sorts of things, including I see a lot of coaches who are feeling burnt out, who have reached that burnout phase, who really just feel exhausted. And so it's not a sustainable way to run and to continue to build your business. And again, this is very likely one of the reasons, if you are at that 6-figure mark, one of the keys to you unlocking your next level is to build and create a consistent marketing and sales system in your business that creates more consistency in your sales and leads to more recurring revenue, which is the next reason that I see so many coaches who stay stuck at this level is because they do not have a monthly recurring revenue installed into their business. And this is a really big one. This is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I'm a huge proponent of building in monthly recurring revenue into your business. It's quite honestly one of the reasons that I've been able to scale my own business. It's one of the reasons why I have had the capacity to be able to grow my business year over year. It's one of the reasons I see for so many of my clients that it allows you to make cleaner decisions in your business and operate your business from a place of a more balanced nervous system versus being in a state where you're operating from fight or flight. And I see a lot of coaches doing this. So here's what monthly recurring revenue will do in your business. It will give you, number one, the ability to grow your business. It will give you the ability to reinvest in your business growth. It will give you the ability to pay for your business expenses on a monthly basis. It will give you the ability to pay yourself on a monthly basis. It will give you the ability to make confident, clear, and clean decisions in your business because when you don't have monthly recurring revenue built in, what happens so often is that then you're making reactive decisions that are not strategic, that are not well thought out, that quite honestly do impact the sustainability and the growth long-term in your business. So building in monthly recurring revenue, I think, is one of the most important things that you can be doing as a coach because it will get you out of that fight or flight mode. It will allow you to operate and be creative, to really be in your zone of genius. It will give you the time and the space that you need in order to invest in higher levels of support, in order to delegate, to be outsourcing things in the business that are currently taking your time. All of these things where your time could be spent on more valuable and more revenue producing activities. All of this happens when you have solid recurring revenue happening and built into the business. And I will tell you all, I have literally seen this one change, literally just this change of installing and building out a system that creates recurring revenue in the business. I have literally seen this one change take coaches from that low 6-figure level to having the resources, having the capital, having the energetic capacity to then lead their businesses towards 7 figures and beyond. Because when you have, I want you to imagine this, when you have 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K, 84K, 100K or more consistently rolling in on a monthly basis, what that would allow you to do, how that would allow you to free up your time, how that would allow you to bring in the right support to help you behind the scenes, where you could be potentially outsourcing so many tasks that then allow you to be full on in your creation mode, in your zone of genius, and be driving the vision forward of the business and carrying the message forward. It will take you out of that fight or flight, which so often happens where you're starting the month from zero, trying to cover your bills, trying to pay yourself, trying to do all of the things. And it's this constant chase. And so I want you to consider what that would be like to be able to walk into every month knowing that already your expenses, that the support that you are needing is already paid for and then some, which then also allows you to also reinvest in your growth, to actually set an amount aside to invest in the marketing and the growth of your business. I will tell you, if you don't have recurring revenue built in or happening in your business right now, this is a huge opportunity. And it's one that until it happens, there's going to be some level of feeling stuck that you're feeling because you're starting every month from ground zero, which takes a tremendous amount of energy, not to mention the mental capacity that it requires to sustain that. So my friends, if you don't have that recurring revenue built into your business, I highly recommend you reach out We'll link up in the show notes a link to our application for the $1 Million Mastermind. This is the work that we do every single day. And it's literally changing the lives of our clients and helping them scale their businesses. Okay. One last note on that. When I say recurring revenue, I'm not just talking about creating a membership model in your business. That's not what I'm saying here. In fact, every one of our clients who is in this process right now, every one of them is not using a membership model. They are using the group coaching model. So I just want to be clear here that the recurring revenue can be built in a number of different ways. Yes, it can come in the form of a membership model, and it can also come in the form of a group coaching model. It can also come in the form of a mastermind model. It can even come in the form of a one-on-one model. So I just want to clarify that. All right. The next reason, if you've hit six figures and you're feeling stuck, is because you're relying on the same audience that you've sold to in order to get you to the six figures in revenue. This one is so common, and I see it happen all the time, where you might, again, have had some success in building your audience through social media, or maybe doing some partnerships, or through your content, through your podcast, or even maybe your YouTube channel, as an example. And what you're probably feeling is that you've probably tapped that audience out, and there's an inherent knowing that you have that in order to go beyond where you're at, that you're going to need to expand and grow your audience, that you're going to need to really seriously build your email list and essentially broaden your reach and get that visibility. All of these things, I will tell you, you're right. Far too often, I see so many really talented coaches who have a great offer, who have a great product, who are doing great work, who are doing very important work in the world, who are truly helping their clients, who have a ton of testimonials. But the problem is that not enough people, not enough potential clients know that they exist or have the solution that they're probably in the process of searching for right now. And that is because what got you to six figures, so the audience that got you to six figures, will likely not be the same audience that will get you to seven. So this is really important. So what does that look like? Well, I will tell you, for a lot of my clients, and this looks like different things, but a lot of times it looks like layering on things like, for example, paid advertising into their strategy. So using Facebook and Instagram ads. It could be on other platforms as well. This looks like getting much more strategic in terms of intentional growth, including growing their audiences so that they're consistently growing this on a weekly and monthly basis, so that they're not trying to sell the same offer to the same audience for the next year and beyond. So it's really, really important that you're building an audience which allows you to expose new people to your offer, to your programs on any given day, on any given week, in any given month, and also nurturing and selling to the audience that you have. So not being fully reliant on your current audience is really, really important. And my guess is that if you feel stuck, or if you're at that six or even low multiple six-figure level, one of the big unlocks for you to your next level likely is expanding and growing your audience and getting much more strategic, much more intentional about how you're growing your audience and ensuring that this is happening consistently so that you're creating the environment within your business that you're exposing new and qualified prospects to your offer, ideally every day. All right. The next reason you might be stuck at six figures, and I will say the higher the revenue you have, this one will become more of an issue if you're not doing it. And that is not knowing your numbers. Now, there is something to when you are in the journey of growing your business to your first six figures. Quite honestly, there's not a lot to know at that point in terms of your numbers. And what I mean by that is you actually really don't have enough volume yet at that point to even have any data that is really consistent. I don't see this come into play until about that $200,000, $250,000 mark, where in fact, up until that point, it's pretty straightforward. You are probably selling your coaching package, which is likely either a one-on-one offer that you're probably trying to sell through a conversation of some sort. And you might have a group program at this point too. I see a lot of coaches who come in to my mastermind who also have a group program at this point. The problem is that your bandwidth is also really tight at this level because you're probably heavy in the delivery of your group or in your one-on-one coaching program. And so you're probably also having a hard time taking yourself out of the business and working on the business instead of being in it all of the time. And a lot of times I see coaches that are in this phase where they're on social media and showing up and doing all of the things and creating content consistently. But overall, they're kind of doing what I would call throwing spaghetti at the wall. And again, to a degree, this is okay, especially if you're under that first 6 figures and you're really just trying to figure things out and you're really just trying to get that proof of concept. I do think that there's an element of you have to just be willing to test a lot of different things. That's all well and good. But when you've hit that multiple 6-figure mark, and when you have sustained that, when for a lot of my clients that come in, they have reached that level and they've likely been at that level for at least a year or more. And let's say that you've done that, if this is you, that you've done that through launching. When you want to move towards that 7-figure mark, that's when there tends to be different considerations to make. That's when what you might have been doing up until that point might not be the right approach moving forward. It might mean you have to shift how you are delivering your program and how you're selling your program. It could mean a lot of different things and also a combination of things. So there isn't, again, a one blanket thing here, but knowing your numbers, especially if you're at a point where you have a group program, especially if you're at that 200, 250K mark or above, it's absolutely essential, because what can happen very easily is that when you don't know your numbers, you're likely making decisions in the business, very important decisions about, for example, how to deliver the program, about who your program is for, about the results that you provide, pricing decisions, marketing decisions, all the things that are important to the ecosystem of your business. But when you're not making them based on data, what happens is you also risk making very costly decisions. You also risk being and operating from a story rather than truth that, quite honestly, probably isn't serving you, which also has the downstream effect of then making these costly decisions. So knowing your numbers is critical and becomes even more important as you scale. The last reason that I want to talk to you about today is that I see a lot of coaches who are not growing their businesses beyond the 6-figure mark. And the reason for that is because they're probably not solving the right problems in their business. And this can be a really tricky one. This can be a tricky one because depending on where you're at emotionally, especially if you have thoughts that you should be farther ahead, especially if you're in a cycle of making decisions for the short term versus the long term. And how I see this manifest a lot is if you're throwing out a lot of different types of offers, if you're kind of offering all sorts of offers throughout the year and you're just kind of trying to throw some things out just to make some quick cash, this a lot of times is what I see how this actually presents in the business. And what tends to happen is when you aren't able to see the full picture, when you can't see the forest through the trees, so to speak, it's very easy to be trying to solve problems, but actually not solving the right problems. And the consequence to that for most coaches is that what will happen is that you will continue to perpetuate the already frustrating situation that you're in, and you'll end up chasing the quick fix and all the bright, shiny objects, thinking that there is one thing that will solve everything. And I will tell you, after 7 years of doing this work, my friends, that is just not the case. One of the most important things that you can do as a $1 million coach, as you step into the identity of a $1 million coach, is to truly understand and see the truth in your business. And that's not easy to do. And make sure that you're solving the right problems. So this is why having expert support to help you identify this, to help you see the right problems, to help you see the truth, can literally be the difference from staying stuck at 6 figures to finally breaking through and moving forward and growing towards that 7-figure level and beyond. So I want to invite you to take a look at these reasons, see where you might have the biggest opportunities right now. And also, I want to encourage you that if you know you are ready for a higher level of support, if you know that you're ready to break through and step into this next level, into your 7-figure self, then I want to invite you to join us inside of the $1 Million Mastermind if you're at or above 6 figures in your business, so we can help support you in stepping into this next level. All right, my friends, have a beautiful week. I'll be back again next week with more. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the $1 Million Coach Business Podcast. If you're ready to step into the $1 million version of yourself and scale your business to 6, multi-6, or 7 figures and beyond, go to amandakarlstadcoaching.com.